Hi, everyone. This is the second of my 2Cellos great covers listens for this weekend, special weekend. And the last one was quite entertaining. Certainly had a lot of virtuosity and technical prowess involved, but it didn't feel like it was just for the sake of showing off, in spite of the fact that one of them just went lay down on the floor and started spinning in circles. It was more playful and fun, and I like that they managed to project that rather than, oh, hey, look at me, I can be really fast with my fingers. Whether you're playing classical or rock or anything, I always dislike this that sometimes happens by accident of, oh, hey, look at me, I can run my fingers, or oh, this is so difficult. I'm just being a technical genius here. But yeah, so I'm excited to see what this one is. As the first one was, it is going to be a guessing game, which means I don't know what it is. And Vlad isn't going to tell me. That means I have to listen to it, see if I recognize it, see if I can pull the name out from the hundreds in my head, and hope that I get it right. Let's see how it goes. She knows it. I guess I remember this bass line. I should know it. Obviously, the rest of the audience knows it. Clearly, it's one that I've heard somewhere along the way. It really does have a lovely melody. It has a catchy, and it does sound vaguely familiar. I suppose if I heard the original, I'd probably say, oh yeah, I've heard that. But in this cover context, I'm struggling to recall it.
Let me play the original for you for a second, and let's see if we can pick it up, okay?
Let me try. That sounds more familiar. Oh. I remember this. Oh, yes. I know. Let's see. This is Nirvana, isn't it? Is this Smells Like Teen Spirit? I'm really not so good at this, am I? It's half the fun.
Come on, you just listened to it once in your life.
Yeah, and I wasn't so in love with it as to listen to it multiple times since, so there we go. All right. Smells Like Teen Spirit, Nirvana. Everybody here is loving it. Actually, I said it has a lovely melody. And it's true, and I guess I like what he's doing with the cello better than I like what the voice is doing over there, so sorry guys, if I'm supposed to love the original better. All right, Vlad says there's a little something for me to read here. Luca and Hauser performing Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana at their historical 5th anniversary concert at Arena di Verona, May 2016. So that's the same year as the other one I listened to, but now this is Italy instead of Croatia. So they must have been doing a tour or well, it says 5th anniversary concert. Maybe this concert they were taking to different countries. I don't know, because I really only started following them just before COVID. So I don't know. Well, let's start from the beginning again, now that I actually know what it is. The cello makes the melody sound. I like it a lot. And then there's this. Now it's the guys that are going crazy. Isn't that funny? Well, this girl is still into it. Harder to move around on stage with a cello than with a guitar, isn't it? I'd say these guys are doing a pretty good job of keeping it visually interesting in spite of the fact that they're kind of anchored by that cello pin, aren't they? Actually, I'm glad that I saw this one. I don't know if you remember my first listen to Smells Like Teen Spirit. It was one that I found interesting, but I didn't connect to it personally. And it just sounded too adolescent, too juvenile, and it just didn't really... I had no desire to hear it again. Obviously, I haven't listened to it since. I couldn't even recognize it here. But, and so if I were making a cover of a piece of rock music, one of the ones I've listened to, I certainly wouldn't have chosen Smells Like Teen Spirit. I wouldn't have decided to do that. Like, okay, put that on the harp, turn it into something kind of classical crossover. Let's pick something else. But I like what they did with it. I almost feel like I should go back and listen to the original now a couple times, because to me, what they did made it more vibrant, more there's a more positive energy to it, to my ears. It might just be my aural prejudices and likes and dislikes. It might be. Or it might be that they have actually kind of put a more positive spin on this whole Smells Like Teen Spirit thing. I'll have to go back and listen to it and explore that. But I'm happy to have heard it, because it's a great reminder, a great example of, if you don't like a piece the first time you hear it, or the first way you hear it, don't write it off completely. explore and be open to hearing it a different way or a different time, or sometimes, as with food, we just have to taste it a few times before we start to appreciate it. Great example of that here, because I enjoyed watching this performance of it. So, well, there the 2Cellos have actually had an influence on me. There you have it. So this has been a fun weekend for me. I guess it's because, well, I get to see how some other classical musicians find a way to relate to and interact with this music in a way that clearly is very engaging. And, well, I want to talk about this for a minute, because this idea of classical musicians engaging with rock music, clearly it works. It can be done. It can be done incredibly well. This is a good example of it. You might not like it. Maybe you prefer the original version. That's okay. You don't have to like this better. But the idea is that it's effective. It's compelling. It is not just a kind of rehash of the original. It has its own vibrancy, its own life to it. And that is what I love to see when any performer takes up any piece of music. It has to have its own, it has to be able to stand on its own 2 feet. They, the performer, have to make the music get up and walk. And, well, this music doesn't just provide that opportunity, but as you can see, the way it's been presented here is in a very virtuosic manner. Not all music has to be virtuosic to be incredible. And I hope that I've made this point many times over as I've listened. Sometimes I've been incredibly moved by a very simple piece of music. And I would hate to give the impression in this video here that somehow virtuosity equates to greatness in music. That is not the case. However, classical musicians are, at least the good ones, are very technically skilled. And we love it when a piece of music really calls on all of our resources, all of our capabilities, not just interpretive, not just imaginative, not just technical, but everything all at once, emotional, everything, communicative, all the skills that we have studied and honed to the best of our ability. We like to have something to sink our teeth into, to sink our fingers into, to dig into and wrestle with. Rock music offers that many times, and this is a great example. These 2 very accomplished cellists, and the drummer behind them, and whoever else is in the mix, are not bored by this music. They're not, it's not something that they say, it's not worth my time. It's not something that appeals to me. They're clearly able to get into it personally. And that's really important. I'm trying to imagine myself or them getting into a Taylor Swift piece. Well, have they done it? Maybe they would enliven it. But as it stands, at least the Taylor Swift I've heard so far, I think it would be a struggle. My point is, as you know, I love crossing boundaries. I love the fact that music can bring people of different backgrounds, different languages, different cultures, different lives together in a peaceful, productive, and rewarding, fun manner, leaving us with an experience of warmth and happiness, and perhaps even knowing ourselves better in the process. I love that about music. And I love something like this, which is clearly doing that so effectively. So I guess maybe we should do some more of these in the future. I promise I won't turn this channel into a classical, pushing down your throat classical channel. No, 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 no. But this idea of crossing boundaries, classical to rock, rock to classical. Well, I have heard some of the, there are still some that you have recommended to me of rock musicians crossing to classical. But I've listened to a few of them along the way. Let's see, which one was that? The Bach, I guess it was Jethro Tull, wasn't it? Bore. And I've done some others that had influences here and there. But this idea of classical musicians crossing over to the other side as well. Not in the way of progressive rock, meaning not necessarily taking classical music and putting it in the rock genre, but classical musicians crossing over to the other side. I like that. So maybe I'll have Vlad dig up some more. And if you know some really, really great examples, feel free to drop them in the comments. And maybe we'll mix a few more in the future. I'll see you soon.